Welcome, everyone, to the Junk and Jam Experience, the broadcast and vodcast that celebrates the incredible journeys and lives of those who are dedicated to bringing joy to others. They include artists, entrepreneurs, activists, humanitarians, public servants, creators of all stripes who sit down with me to talk all about their impressive and diverse bodies of work, because the junk of the world could use a lot more sweet jam. I am your host, storyteller, broadcaster, and lover of all things human. Suck it, AI, Christopher Albert de la Roa, or as my grandmother used to call me, Fatso. Now, my very special guest today is a writer, producer, playwright, and educator whose journey is as bold and creative as she is. She began her career in Washington, D.C. and Baltimore, where she worked as an actress, singer, model, and voiceover artiste. She went on to attend and practice her crafts at the Howard University, later transferring to the University of Illinois, where she earned her BA in professional writing. She went on to earn her master's in professional writing from USC, that's the University of Southern California, where her play PowerPoints won first place in the Writing for Stage and Screen annual competition. Suck that, AI! Since her very first full-length play, which, by the way, she produced, she starred in, she directed, she casted, all the things, Bumps, kicked off her theatrical career to her play Whatever Works, part of the 5 Sirens Showcase for the Hollywood Fringe Festival, which, of course, sold out back-to-back performances and received glowing reviews. Her work spans fiction, poetry, memoir, and she's even earned recognition in the Howard W. Moses Poetry competition. That's poetry. She is also an educator and writing instructor at the Santa Monica College and continues to nurture new voices while balancing her own creative passions. But above all, she'll tell you her proudest accomplishment is being a mother and, of course, grandmother. 2 beautiful grandchildren, Sahara and Jelani. She is talented, fearless, unique, and just the right amount of spicy. Please join me in welcoming my dear friend, writer, producer, playwright, and educator, Caron Tate. Hello, Caron.
Wow. Hello, sweet Christopher. How you doing?
Well, we did it. We are here.
We're here. AI notwithstanding, we are here.
AI notwithstanding, we've got more important things to do here with us in the living realm, in the non-robotic realm. I love this chair, by the way.
Thank you.
It's very.
You're welcome to come sit in it at any time.
Well,
sorry, that's my.
Let's start somewhere. I'm going to say back in 1987. Your hit underground play Bumps.
Many long decades ago.
About a DC stripper. In your own words, it was about a woman who got into a life that probably is not a good idea to think of as a career, but she got stuck in it. You played a character, Silky.
Mm-hmm.
That's Silky with a Y and a Y.
A Y and a Y.
You wrote, produced, casted, directed, performed in it, marketed, and even helped to clean the venue.
Well, did some of that too.
Tell us a little bit about Bumps, what it means to you.
It was at a time when I was doing a lot of acting in DC, and I was fortunate to be able to do theater and film stuff, which in DC was mostly industrial films, like training films and government things, how to be a better secretary or whatever, and commercials, voiceovers, that kind of thing. And I wanted to do more theater, and but usually the plays that were chosen except for Black History Month, the
Sure.
plays that were
Right.
chosen didn't have great parts for me. And I said, well, I could write something. And so I did. And to this day, I don't know if it was the best idea, but I certainly learned a lot from it. So I wrote something starring me, and it was about nude and topless dancing, which I had done. Mm-hmm. So I said, and the thing was, people always asked me when I told them I did it, they would kind of like, what's that like? Tell me about it. Or really? And I said,
I feel like it'll be like, wow, you really did that? Show me your tits.
And all they had to do was come and see the show. A lot of times it was more like, you did? Ew.
Oh, really?
Weren't you scared? Weren't you afraid? There was weren't there a lot of drugs? But whatever negatives you could think about it, they would think, because they didn't know. And I said, I could write about that. People would be interested.
Well,
so,
as they say, right? Like when you're a writer, and especially if you're producing something, and especially if it's of you write what you know.
Worked for me, and I thought there's already interest in it, and a lot of people were interested. It was quite an experience, and I had a lot of help from some of the people who were working with me on it. Especially the women in the cast, they were so supportive and helpful, and the men, not as much, but it was a huge undertaking, probably too big at the time, but it was a very good learning experience. I learned a lot from that.
So December 17th, 1987, random day from the Washington Post, not the White House's favorite journalistic approach these days. They wrote an article on you. While Caron Tate was piecing together an acting career, she performed intermittently at Black Alley Theater, New Playwrights, and Studio Theater. She paid the rent by dancing topless and nude at clubs all over D.C. Caron's on and off experience, which spanned nearly 5 years at the time, provided the raw material for her first play, Bumps, which is now playing at the old Back Alley Theater. I'm quoting Caron, while I was working in those clubs, I kept a journal. It was a difficult time because all I wanted to do was act, but I didn't have the skills. And I found that by dancing, I could make a lot of money and choose my own hours. I thought, wow, this would make a great movie, but I decided it would be more realistic to try writing a play. I don't really have any training as a writer, so I'm sure I did it the wrong way. Where are these journals, Caron?
I probably still have them. I think I saved most of them. And I've been thinking I should dig them out and look back at things. I probably do, because I did try to keep a journal going so I could have a record of those days. So, yeah, they're probably back in a box.
Probably back in a box. Probably back in a box when you were showing your box. What has...
Well, yeah.
Lucky them, whoever was there. What has your own life taught you about storytelling? Whether it's about you or portraying a character or writing characters, right? Because, and stop me if I'm wrong, Bumps, you had like 18 characters, no?
Yeah. Well, storytelling is I think, we all kind of live for storytelling. I don't know anybody who doesn't like a story. That if they want to be entertained, no matter what the entertainment is, they want a story. Even if they're just like, I don't like movies and stuff, I like going to my games, my sports, whatever it is, it's still a story, because you know about this person who struggled that last time in that game, and he's had issues off the court or the pitch or whatever, and now he's here, or they're fighting to come back from whatever the struggle was. And even things like WrestleMania, there's always a story,
A story, yeah,
and
sure.
people love that. So I like to tell stories. I love to talk to people and get their stories, and then they're interested in mine, and we kind of exchange. I mean, life is a story.
Life is a
And
story, yes.
yeah, yeah. And sometimes it's a,
And you had
sometimes-
you have different stories to tell at different intervals of your life, right? Speaking of, and then we'll move on. I don't want to harp on it, Karen. Gosh, not until you show me your tits.
That'll be 5 drinks and oh, sorry.
Oh,
Go
no,
ahead.
no, no. When we think of storytelling, also it's like another way of sharing and showing others that, we're not so dissimilar, right? Like some of
Mm-hmm,
what I've
mm-hmm,
experienced, you could probably either gain some insight from or go, "Oh, I've been through that and I didn't think about that when I was going through
mm-hmm.
it. And I could learn from this person who has went through it." But speaking of some other you're in great company, other young people who have done some dirty dancing before, while working on their career. Cardi B began her career as an exotic dancer at the age of 18. Chris Pratt used to strip for money while living out of a van in Hawaii. Uh, I did not notice Mark Consuelos was part of a male roadie group of strippers. Now, he didn't tell that story, by the way. His wife, Kelly Ripa, is proud to share that story. And then, of course, we think of the one and only Maya Angelou. Maya
Yeah,
Angelou was a
right.
sex worker during her youth, a period she detailed in a 1974 autobiography, Gathered Together in My Name, where she also wrote about her experience as a pimp and a brothel manager.
Mm-hmm.
And it just reminds me, well, first of all, society places its own limitations and its own expectations of you based on not just your experiences, but your history, right? Um, but we couldn't be where we are without having been where we were.
Yeah, exactly. And it's nothing that I'm ashamed of. Now I was dancing before Flashdance, but ever since Flashdance, the movie, it's been different. It's kind of like much more accepted, and people think it's all props and costumes and the pole and
Fabulousness,
doing all it,
yeah.
but it wasn't that ritzy
Dirty,
titsy.
dirty.
Not by any means. It
Not
was all
dirty like in the sense of dirty, but it's you, you have to carve a space for you to feel safe while working um, to feel respected because you still deserve to feel safe and respected
yeah, yeah. I mean,
regardless
a
of.
lot of people think of it as sex work, and I did dance with people who had other things going on the side. But I danced with a pair of sisters one time who were dancing their way through college because their parents were not there for them,
Yeah.
and they got their college degrees. They would be studying, reading their books in the dressing room. And there was another girl. She was French, but was in school in DC. And the day she graduated, she quit that day. She wasn't even worried about her money for next
Yeah.
week, but she was
Good for
done
her.
through and done with it.
Well, good
So
for her. You find
very
your way
different
to
people.
survive and yeah, pay those bills.
But I also work with people where you could see the track marks on their arms and legs,
Hmm.
and some of them who
Sure.
would get with a customer and then they'd miss the next set because they went somewhere with the customer and then they came back and you knew what was going on. But
You
I was there
know,
for the MONEY.
yes, which is a good point that you make because it can be both, meaning for some it's an escape, and then that escape goes further with
Mm-hmm.
with drug use.
Yeah.
right? And then
And I got
the
offered
escape turns into
way. So it was there, and people
yeah,
would offer all the time.
yeah.
But it's just like, no,
And
no,
it,
no,
but
no, no.
other young women and people are you're still in a vulnerable position, and
Mhm. Oh yeah, and there were underage girls dancing, and one of the clubs where I worked just before I started there actually got shut down for a while because they were doing a nightlife DC after dark type of a nightlife thing, interviewing her and like, oh, and how old are you? And she was either 16 or 17. So they shut the club down because
shut it down.
that's enough to say 18. So yeah, they shut it down for a while, but it opened right back up.
Well, yeah, business. So this leads us to 1988, Uptown Angel, not your own writing, but brought this little synopsis. Brought up on the wrong side of town, a young Black woman struggles to rise above her humble beginning, which is a nice way. Do you remember Uptown Angel? Because you can buy it, by the way, on eBay. You can buy the VHS used, and it looks like some of them are unused.
You know what? I think it's free on YouTube. I think.
Yes,
And
you can find it on the tube.
I haven't looked in, I don't know, a long time, but I think it might be free on YouTube. Sure, I remember it. That was another interesting experience. The filmmaker was making her first film, and she kind of did what I did, in my opinion, which was she bit off more than she could chew. That it was really too much for a first film. And all kinds of things went wrong, and there were issues, money issues, and it was a struggle, and anything you could think of. Sometimes with locations or whatever, things were happening, and but she got it done though. She did get it done, and she got it out. And when she was trying to get funding, she was running into like this one guy who could have put a lot of money into it, but he didn't want to talk to her unless she sat on his lap, and she ran into that a lot. And she
which made it into the film.
Sorry.
That's sort of it. That's in the film.
Yeah, yeah. And she kind of borrowed from my life, by the way.
Yeah.
My life and actually her sister's life.
That's what you get for opening your mouth before the script is done.
From our experiences. But she even had more than one production house or people who could have put it up for her, tell her, oh, Black people aren't interested in that kind of story. They want comedies. These were always white people telling her that.
Sure.
She ran into that over and over. They, Black people, don't want that kind of story because the white men, spoke for Black people. So, yeah. But gatekeepers. She got it done, though. She did get it done.
But this is why, and this is when you look at, all of the, Black filmmakers now, who knew that you can write, you can have a cast, a full Black cast, which she did. But at the end of the day, it's not about the stories. It's not just about the stories being told. It's about who's telling the story. And on top of that, it's about who is gatekeeping those stories being told.
Yeah. But I mean, there are some Black people in power positions now. Didn't exist back then. But, it's kind of the wheels turning again, and we have the no DEI attitude from the White House. So we'll see how things go.
Yeah, well, the White House is making its own disaster film at the moment. So so some of
You mean
your
it's a whole
acting,
disaster reality show?
it's a disaster reality show, starring is her name Karen too? Leave it. What is her name?
Who's that? Sorry.
The press secretary. What's the press secretary's name?
Oh, Caroline,
Caroline
Levitt.
Levitt, whatever.
Yeah.
We don't need to pronounce her name right. Now, some of your acting credits, according to TVGuide.com, include, of course, action TV series Martial Law, Homicide,
Hmm.
Life on the Street. You played Renee Perkins, Literary Visions. In 1992 was a doc. There's a drama film, Miss Rose White. You were in Talking to Strangers. In 1988, 1985, Suspense, Prime Risk. You were in the PBS series Getting to Know Me as the mom. 1986, we're going all over the place. I'm sorry, Karen. You,
Scraping the rust off my memory. Go on.
speaking of, let's to Black Playwright, right? You were in the August Wilson play very early on. He, freshly, the ink was still drying, right? Just a few years earlier in Ma Rainey's Black Bottom in the Studio Theater. The Washington Post described you as a seductive Dussie Mae. Karen is disarmingly lovely.
Don't remember that. Thank you.
I'll send you some of what I found written.
Interesting. Yeah.
What is your memory about playing? You played Dussie Mae.
Hmm.
And of course, it was made into a movie recently, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. What is your memory about that play being in?
Oh, it was just fun doing it. And the band, this was at Studio Theater, and Joy Zinnemann, the director, did a really interesting thing, which was she had actual musicians who were not actors playing some of the band, and then she had an actor, I guess two actors who weren't musicians playing band members. So there were some interesting challenges there with our non-actor musicians.
Right.
They can really play, but then there was a speaker coming out of the non-musician's horn. So really interesting. And that part of Dussie Mae, the challenge was there's a long period of time where she's just sitting on stage.
Yeah.
And just sitting there in the dark or whatever while other things are happening. And I literally fell asleep one night. But I woke up before I was supposed to go back on. That never happened again because my heart was racing the rest of the show.
Get your ass up. That is
yes. Yeah. Our lead, that show, within, and I think less than a year and a half, our lead mom, the director, and two of the musicians had passed. And it was like, every time I think about that particular show, like, wow. They were gone in almost no time. And it just always makes me think and reminds me that you never know. You just never know how long people will be around.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it just gives me that, don't forget, keep in mind.
Yeah. Enjoy these moments with the people that you are surrounded by in this moment. August Wilson's characters are always complex. At least.
He came to the show, by the way.
What was that?
He came to the show, August Wilson.
Fabulous. That's not the one you fell asleep on.
No.
Did playing this character, Dussie Mae, change? I don't want to say change, or maybe enlighten you, um, open your eyes to a certain perspective on how women, let alone Black women, were treated in entertainment and society during the era of the play. What was 1920s, right?
Yeah, well, I have to say that every character that I was ever fortunate to do changed me in some way. And that one, I didn't know Ma's story. I mean, vaguely kind of had heard it, but this was a kind of glimpse into the power, no power, because mom didn't really, Ma Rainey, she didn't really have power.
Yeah.
But while she was recording and they needed her recording to get done, she had a sort of petty power right then because she wasn't going to sing till she got her Coca-Cola. And they had to go out and buy her Coca-Cola and bring it to her but that was all she had. That was her power. And so she used it. And then I played Dussie Mae character, was Ma's girlfriend. Mm-hmm. But she also, Dussie Mae, gets kind of involved with one of the guys in the band. Mm-hmm. And the guys in the band were warning him, that's Ma's girl. Mm-hmm. So the tensions of this day or days, putting her songs together and trying to get them ready to go out was building because of the things happening underneath. But it was a fun little, like, open that little peephole. Let me see in there. And let me live there for a little bit.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was fun. It was a good experience too. Although, when you're in the middle of something and this one gets mad at that one or whatever, then you kind of have all the drama, the offstage drama that always seems to go with every show.
Always seems to go with every show.
So that was fun. That was fun too.
Well, you got to be in the company of being in and, around greatness, right? That includes yourself. 1980, I was just a little teeny weensy. You played a mother in PBS series Getting to Know Me, about a warm, loving...
no final G, getting to know me.
Gettin, warm, loving, tightly knit African-American family. Consists of a father, mother, son, daughter, and grandparents who spend quality time together exploring, daily teachings that preserve moral African-American culture, moral ethics, love, honesty. So you had your son play your son on it.
Oh yeah, but he had to audition, like, along with other kids, and we both had to audition, though we did audition together. And I'm sure that did not hurt at all. Yeah, but we both got cast. And it's funny because years later, somebody recognized him on the street from that little boy. And if you go on, I guess it's YouTube, must be.
Yes.
That there's kind of like a mini fan page for Getting to Know Me.
It is.
But people will talk about how they loved it and they would rush home from school to see it. So I'm like, oh, really? But, and we shot that in Baltimore at the Baltimore PBS station. It's Baltimore area PBS station.
Well, it's interesting, right? Because it reminds me of what you said earlier. Black audience don't want to see that. They just want to see, the Jeffersons. But here you had something that was kind of like the Black version of Little House on the Prairie.
Well, it was folklore. There was some kind of folklore that was mixed into each show. And there was a grandmother was there as well. She always would have, an old story to tell from back in the day, or we would eat something that was kind of, oh yeah, we used to eat this and we do this with it, or something would happen in the kids' lives, and there'd be a story that would help to guide them, kind of.
You were in the Krabs Comedy Sketch Show on Maryland Public TV. In one of the sketches, you played a mail order, someone obsessed with mail order catalogs. Her name was Margaret, and she was addicted to ordering stuff she didn't need from the mail ordering catalog. Do you have a funny story at all about something you ordered from mail catalog that was totally impractical, but you just had to have it?
Hmm. I've always been kind of careful with stuff like that. And like, I want this specific thing, like I do now with Amazon.
Yeah.
I want a specific thing.
Very specific.
And I like that thing, and I order that. And back then, you couldn't order 5 of something and then return 4 of them for free.
No.
That was not like that.
So you had to be careful.
But yeah. So I wasn't so bad with that.
PowerPoints, set in the late 1960s, Howard University campus, featuring a black female, in the characters anyway, black female activist, and a naive white woman. What happens when they have more in common than either would expect? What happens if these commonalities drive them further apart? PowerPoints examines these issues in an artistic and poignant manner. Do you remember your inspiration behind PowerPoints?
Yeah, because it was set when I was at Howard University, which was 68. I went there in 68, 9. My son was born in 71, so I did not finish. But 2 incidents that happened that kind of stayed with me. So this was 68, 69. So on campuses all over the country, there were protests and there were all kinds of things going on. And this one night, the theater department was doing a play in the small theater on campus, which was the Ira Aldridge Theater. Ira Aldridge was a black actor from back in the day. And they were doing a play there. And on another part of campus, there was a meeting going on about a possible protest, possibly taking over a building, and just there was unrest going on.
Yeah.
And one of the guys said, one of the people running the meeting said something like, there's things that we have to do, or we're going to get together, or committees, form committee, whatever. And this one guy said, yeah, well, there's a play going on right now in Ira Aldridge with a whole bunch of white people there. And I know what I'm going to do. I'm going over there and clear them out right now. So he left, other people left with him, and they had to evacuate the audience. And subsequent to that, one of the actors who was in that play wrote a scathing letter to the Hilltop, which was the Howard campus paper, saying how they put on shows for free, trying to get students to come out. They begged and pleaded. And finally, for this play, they had a decent audience and somebody to come and watch their work and see what they were doing. And she said, thank you for driving out those dirty, paying white people. And that, I've never forgotten that. And another incident was when something was going on campus. There was this white girl walking off campus, on her way off campus. She may have been a student. I don't know. I never did find out who she was, but she was walking off campus and she got kicked off campus. Yeah. Like people were kicking her and pushing her as she walked by and left campus. And again, just something that those 2 things stayed with me. Wow. And they were the inspiration for PowerPoint.
Wow. There's so much going on, right? You had Vietnam War, the counterculture, right? The anti-war protests. Of course, you still had the civil rights movement. There was a
Hmm.
riot at the 1968 Democratic National Convention. The assassinations of Martin Luther King Jr. and Robert F. Kennedy. You were at Howard University in such a pivotal time in American history.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I mean, you name it, people would come through Howard, like Stokely Carmichael.
how do you feel like your art reflected or resisted this social and political the turbulence of this era, excuse me.
Um, well, it's. I grew up Black in America, so it's
America.
kind of always there.
Yeah.
I remember seeing white ladies only sign on the bathrooms. I remember going into some stores where they let you shop, but they didn't let you use the bathrooms. They didn't let you try the clothes on. You had to buy them and then take them home. And if they weren't right, they would give you all kinds of grief for trying to return them. And I mean, I remember
These clothes were worn by a Negro.
They don't think they told people that because a lot of people wouldn't have bought them. They may as well have been trash. Yeah. But I remember like taking the bus. We would drive south. My mother's from Mississippi. My father's from Texas. When we drove to the south, just the looks and the things we would get stopping for gas. If we took the bus to the south, they would tell you, we cannot guarantee your seats when you get past the Mason-Dixon line. That even though you paid like everybody else, if somebody white wanted your seat and you had 6 more hours on your trip, you would have to stand up.
Yeah.
Or if you wanted to, try to buy another ticket on another bus, but they did not guarantee your seats. And my parents once were on a church bus trip, and some people in the South thought that they were freedom riders. And, they asked them, is y'all the freedom riders? And they said, no, we're just a church group. And my brother and I were like, well, you should have said you were freedom riders. I didn't understand that freedom riders' buses were getting burnt, blown up, and that people were getting beaten, killed, you name it. I didn't understand that. But, I was a kid. But so all of that is part and parcel of who I am. So it's not a kind of
it's not something you just adopt and
thing coming in and that's interesting, like learning French or something, which I took. That's different. Yeah, I like it. It's just a part of who I am. We do have MAGA going on, and with them trying to, like they said, they want to take it back to another time, probably back to those times I'm talking about, like, the 50s or whenever they think it was great. I guarantee you it wasn't last year or a year before last. So it's better. Worse in some ways, but better in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Well, at the moment, we have people still of a certain color being disappeared off the streets.
Yep.
Caron Tate.
And American citizens included.
American citizens.
Yeah.
History repeating itself in one way or the other. Yeah. So, I mean, these conversations and in the play, you're talking about 60s, but it's still the conversation still continues today.
Same old talk. Yep.
Hello, everyone. Join me in signing The Cultural Freedom Demands Collective Courage, a nationwide statement of values and principles for the field of arts and culture. Add your name to affirm your commitment to remain true to our democratic responsibility to act as guardians of artistic freedom and independent thought. Affirm the independence of our programming in service to our mission and commit to resisting external pressures thus assuring our organization's credibility and cultural authority, and sign your name to stand with fellow institutions facing political pressure and remain a field united by shared values and principles. Sign your name at collective-courage.com. Thank you. Caron, you have generations now getting to know me, and young people, aspiring actors and actresses, and even playwrights can put on a production of PowerPoints. They could find it. It's out there for them to find and recreate. And my hope for you is that, yes, you yourself have other things you still want to attain and do. And yes, there are still lots of things that you haven't done yet. But I hope it's okay that we take in this moment to celebrate all that you have done in terms of storytelling, celebrating the joy, the challenges, and the joys of what it was to be you as a Black woman in America. And those stories will live on.
I like the way you tell it, Dad. It's better.
So one other show that's part of your legacy. In 1994, you were part of a Baltimore-based talk show, variety show called Bingo Break that included an in-studio band, live bingo games in which the home viewers could participate in. And in honor of that, and in honor of your strength, your grace, and just being a badass, Caron, you and I were going to play a very special game I like to call Ebony, Heroine, Screen Queens.
Okay.
So in Hollywood, on the battlefields of history and on the screens that raised us, these beautiful Black queens have reigned supreme as leading ladies with power. There goes that word again, power.
Mm-hmm.
And never, I repeat, never have they taken off their crowns. And neither should you, Caron. So today, it is your royal duty to guess who these queens are based on the clues I give you. And now, Caron, if you mess it up, you risk banishment to the land of Lifetime original movies with white-only casts. So don't mess it up.
I may be there.
I think you got this. Are you ready for your first clue?
I'm ready. I'm ready, Coach. Put me in.
Okay, your first clue. This queen of 9 lives slinked through Gotham with claws sharper than any villain's tongue and a purr that could hypnotize even Batman.
Oh, Catwoman, of course. And that could be Eartha Kitt.
That is the Eartha Kitt.
Oh, okay. I was going to say.
Singer, actress, and activist.
Mm-hmm.
Known for her distinctive, sultry voice and versatile talents in music, film, television, and cabaret. Her career spanned 6 decades and received numerous awards and nominations for her work, including multiple Daytime Emmy Award nominations, 2 nominations for Tony Awards, and for her Broadway performances in Timbuktu and The Wild Party, and 2 Grammy nominations. She was also given a star in the Hollywood Walk of Fame. She was a vocal advocate for civil rights and against the Vietnam War. Going back to that time, her anti-war stance actually, especially at a White House event, got her blacklisted in the U.S. For several years.
Johnson. I remember that.
The communists in 1966, she established the Kitsville Youth Foundation to support underprivileged youth and was an advocate for LGBTQ plus rights. She also used her performances in apartheid South Africa to fund schools for Black students there.
Did not know that. Wow.
You ready for your next clue?
Well, I'm doing okay so far.
She is the royal mother of a hidden kingdom. Her headdress taller than most men's egos, her voice enough to rally an army as Wakanda's eternal queen.
Oh, the character name.
She played the queen of rock and roll, soul, and pop.
Yep. Yep. She
Tina
played Tina
Turner,
Turner.
Angela
And
Bassett.
thank you. Oh, I was going to say, I should have said Angela, but I couldn't think of Bassett.
That's
Well,
okay.
anyway.
Her career includes acclaimed roles, and we just mentioned it, and What's Love Got to Do with It? Waiting
Yep.
to Exhale, one of my favorite movies. I mean, Babyface did a beautiful job with that soundtrack. And obviously, Black Panther, earning her an honorary Oscar, Golden Globes, multiple NAACP Image Awards, and an
Yep.
Emmy
Yep. Yep.
nomination. Her notable awards also include a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, which you can walk on, Karen, because you live by you're a hop, skip, jump, and a car ride away from Hollywood. Also an Academy Award nomination for Black Panther, Wakanda Forever.
Mhm.
She served as a UNICEF ambassador and is an advocate for education, women's health, and Black representation in media.
Mhm.
This 1970s Avenger fought drug lords, pimps, and corruption, armed with only her afro, her wit, and a mean right hook. Her code name, Foxy.
Foxy Brown. The lady with the bodacious body. Not
Yeah,
Pamela.
yeah. That's
Oh, it is Pam.
Yeah, Pam Grier.
Grier. Okay, Pam Grier.
Her career launched in the 70s, obviously with iconic blaxploitation films like Coffee and Foxy Brown. She was cinema's first female action star and a cultural icon.
Huh. Did not know that.
She experienced a career revival with Quentin Tarantino's Jackie Brown in 1997. She earned a Golden Globe nomination and a Screen Actors Guild Award nomination. She's also been recognized with numerous career honors, including a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Cine Success International Film Festival, and is noted for her activism in promoting diversity in film. She authored her memoir, Foxy, My Life in 3 Acts, in 2010. She is an animal lover and volunteers with therapeutic riding programs to rescue horses. Her iconic roles have made her a symbol of women's rights and empowerment. She supports organizations like Dining Out for Life, which aids those affected by HIV and AIDS, and uses her platform to advocate for lymphedema awareness after surviving cervical cancer herself.
Wow.
I think I have one more for you.
Okay.
She's the people's protector, part vigilante, part mother, all heart. When danger lurks, call the equalizer. And yes, you better put respect on her crown.
Rapper.
Yeah.
Um,
Actress?
Singer, rapper, actor, producer.
All of the above.
Queen Latifah.
It is Queen Latifah. Imagine you're wrong. Queen Latifah's career spans music, film, and television, earning a Grammy, Emmy, Golden Globe, and Oscar nomination. As a pioneering hip-hop artist, she has produced music that addresses themes of women's issues and later explored jazz and soul. Of course, she is an actress, producer through Flavor Unit Entertainment, an author and an entrepreneur. She is known for her advocacy for women and positive portrayal of Black women, and is a respected figure who uses her platform for purpose-driven work. She has won, in particular, a Grammy Award for Best Rap Solo Performance in 1995 for her song UNITY. She's won an Emmy Award for Outstanding Television Movie for Bessie in 2015. She has won Best Actress in a Golden Globe for limited series for motion picture. For life support in 2008, that's and life support was she played, I believe, a woman who had HIV.
Mm-hmm.
She got an Oscar nomination, Best Supporting Actress for Chicago in 2002. When you're good to Mama, Mama is good to you. She's also won NAACP Image
He
Awards.
had it coming.
Yeah, right. She had it coming. Multiple recipients of those prestigious awards. She also has a Hollywood Walk of Fame star, which, by the way, in 2006, she became the first hip hop artist to receive a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. In 2023, she became the first female rapper to be a Kennedy Center honoree, when that used to mean something.
Yeah.
She works to raise awareness for the plight of caregivers, those who selflessly put their lives on hold to tend to a loved one and in need, as she did take care of her mother, Rita Owens, before her passing.
Wow.
And I do have an honorary. We don't have to go through any clues, but an honorary heroine on screen. And she wasn't always credited as a heroine because of the roles that she played, was Hattie McDaniel.
Oh, I was going to say Hattie McDaniel?
Yes, so Hattie McDaniel, her career, of course, was defined a pioneering role as the first African American, of course, to win an Oscar for Gone with the Wind. And she, of course, faced, when we spoke about this earlier, racial typecasting in Hollywood. Her legacy includes two stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. And of course, she has a United States Postal Service stamp in her honor. Off screen, she supported other Black performers. She fought racial discrimination in housing through a successful lawsuit in Hollywood, by the way, and donated to educational causes like the NAACP. But she also faced criticism from within the Black community for playing servient roles. But she defended those opportunities as vital for future Black actors because, again, due to racial typecasting in Hollywood, she only had
roles that were available. Yeah, they weren't going to cast her as anything else.
But she did play in those roles, over 300 of them. And she famously said in defense of herself, "I would rather make $700 a week playing a maid than earn $7 being one."
There you go.
And people didn't know this. In Gone with the Wind, she was the person who had the racial slur, the N-word, removed from the script. She refused to say it. She refused for people to say it. And she would not shoot a scene until the word was removed from the script.
She wanted her Coca-Cola.
She wanted her Coca-Cola, but her power wasn't petty at all.
Mm-hmm.
Her power was putting her foot down for others.
Yeah. Good for her. Yeah, those were hard days to be an actor of color.
Caron, other than the phenomenal talent you're also an educator. You are currently a writing instructor as well at Santa Monica College. Is that right?
Well, I am an instructional tutor, which means we work one-on-one with the students. Most of the students would be the ones who are struggling in some way with their writing, and they come into the writing center for us to help them. So we work with writing and humanities, but they might be ready to graduate, so they have to write their essays to graduate, to try and get into four-year colleges. Santa Monica is mostly a two-year college, although we do have two parts that are now complete 4 years. But we work with whatever the writing is. It might be English, but there might be an art student who has to write something to go with their work, or perhaps a chemistry or math student who has to do a project and they have to explain it. Well, they have to write something to go with it.
What do you say, or how do you encourage students who are struggling with confidence in their writing? How do you help them find what maybe one or two pieces of advice do you give them to help them find their voice?
Well, usually they'll come in and say, I'm not good at writing. And then I'll just say, really? Okay, tell me a story. Anything. You and your friends, or something crazy that you saw, or something your grandfather said, or whatever. Tell me a story. And they'll tell me this interesting story about this thing that happened, and grandpa said that, and dad said that, and I was hiding in the closet because they were, and whatever. And then I say, if you wrote that down, that's a story. Yeah. You can write.
How are you navigating this time of instructing students of how to write, of how they're finding their voice during this time when AI can generate text and words so easily?
Well, that's a challenge. Each instructor has their own thing with AI. So one might say, you can use it in these specific ways. Another might say, you do not use it. And if you get caught using it, that's an automatic F. So you have kind of, Yeah. So you hope that the student will be honest enough to not use it so that their writing skills get better. But usually if I see something that's frankly too good, then I'll say, okay, how about this section here? And then I'll pick out a little section and say, tell me this part here, I'm not quite following you. Tell me this in other words. And then they start saying what's on. I said, no. Tell me this part right here in your words so I'll know what you meant. Because it could mean this and it could mean this and it could mean that. Tell me what you mean when you say it. And they really can't. Then I tell them, you know what? You got to write this.
Any parting words for those, not just writers, for anyone who feels stuck? Maybe someone told them they weren't good enough. And, oftentimes it's coming from inside the house. Those voices come
That's very true. Right? That's very true.
Any advice for someone who is looking to move forward with whatever they're...
Yeah, same old advice that they would get anytime, any place from anybody. Don't give up. Don't give up.
Winter's chill has lost its thrill a time ago, long ago. March's bluster lost its luster by the ice. Inklings of a warmer time send tingles down my sides. Off the earmuffs and the parkas, with a smile I realize it's spring again. Let's sing again of life and love. The flowers grow, the winds they blow above, up in the sky.